Rockstar Dev. What are you talking about, man? Something fancy. Bitcoin, Nostr, and Tor, sovereign individuals. You don't know anything about this.
Yeah, see what kind of introduction I get.
This is this one's gonna be bad. You aren't gonna like this. This is all.
It's like your boy.
Let's hear it for
I'm your
Rockstar.
uncle. Let's go. Applause? No? Thank you. And all of you standing over there, like you can take a seat. I will give you a few moments. And then if presentation is bad, you can always leave, you know? Like you don't need to be like, I'm not committed. Now, who here in the audience has followed me online? Like know who I am? Damn it, I thought I were more popular. But that's, that's the thing in Europe, yeah. What I love about Europe is whenever I come back here, because I immigrated to US from Europe, it's a completely new crowd, new audience, and I get to meet so many new people, and I really love it. So knowing that I need to introduce myself, let me do that. So I go by Rockstar Dev. I'm a core contributor on a BTC Pay server. That's how my identity really started 7 years ago. Who here knows about BTC Pay server? Okay, more people. There we go. Because for those of you that don't know BTC Pay server, you can go to YouTube and search for My Trust in You is Broken, BTC Pay documentary. It's really great documentary. I see over there. Someone is like, yes. It's really great documentary on how BTC Pay as a project started, with Nicholas being upset with BitPay declaring SegWit 2x as one true Bitcoin for their merchants. So what do you do if you're a single developer and there is a company that raised $60 million from Bitmain and other people? Like you go online and you post, this is lies, my trust in you is broken, I'll make you obsolete. And you actually do it a few years later, because nowadays, who uses BitPay? Like, no? Oh, okay. Yeah, you can leave. Yeah, you can leave. Now, I mean, BitPay is so irrelevant, and there are so many more companies that have stepped up in payment space, and one of them is Strike. So together, I joined Jack Mallers on developing like Strike. So I'm the one that wrote most of the back end of Strike, and then served there for 4 years as VP of engineering, hired a bunch of people, built up that company. And nowadays, I mostly do this. I go around the world, conferences, promote Bitcoin the best I can, promote Nostr, promote really the thinking of like how can you improve your own personal sovereignty? How can you empower yourself as an individual? And I love that I'm following up on Set for Privacy, because man, where are you? Are you still here? No, he left right away. He's one of the great privacy advocates, and what he was saying is like such a great intro into what I will be talking about. And what I'm talking about is really a topic that's so near and dear to my heart. It's about technology that empowers you as an individual and allows you to stand on your own without any trusted third parties and dependencies. Like, how can you use technology to be sovereign? And talking about that, we can open with a question that's probably on everyone's mind, which is, why do I wear a mask, right? Someone asked me before this presentation, was immediately like, why do you wear a mask? And my answer is usually COVID-19, right? We got to defend ourselves from virus, like super hard virus, right, RD? Yeah, he approves. But, you know, now that that's getting a little bit old, and until me and Giacomo Zucco, we get a new variant of virus to rage against online, I started to be somewhat more serious and say that, well, what it really is. Like, this mask is an accessory that maximizes my individual privacy. And it's a tool to maximize my freedom. So in today's world, it's like your every movement, your every transaction, your every action is tracked and collected, unfortunately. And obviously I'm here standing on the stage. I opt into this being recorded and participating in front of all of you. So you people that want to take pictures, please take as many pictures as you want. But the thing is, if I walk off this stage and go into the building, I'm still recorded. And all of you are as well. So one would think, okay, you know what? We're going to leave this building and go into the city. Surely we're not recorded, right? Well, like actually we are. So if you walk around Lugano, anyone in the world can go on this website and watch you walk around Lugano. So even doing everyday simple things is causing you to be exposed in a situation where your likeness is being captured and processed and used in some way. And I don't want that. So when people ask me why do I wear a mask, it's because there are some pieces of me that I want to preserve for myself and for my private life. And I think everyone intuitively understands that, right? You all want that for yourself, that your data is yours, that it's not just by walking around random city, it gets captured and then used for training on AI models, which maybe it's being done, maybe it's not, we don't know. Because this mask really, to me, should be a tip of an iceberg that gets you to think, how did we end up in this world that we ended up in? You know, in this high velocity thrash economy where everything is consumed and then some kind of junk is produced for consumers that will be, you know, next year it will be old. You'll need to get a new iPhone. You'll need to get a new Pixel. And to me, it's all about this problem of all of us being tied by thousands of invisible strings that are pulling us in directions that are not ours. So we're not doing things that benefit ourselves. We start doing things that are benefiting this damn system that has life of its own. It has goals of its own. It's kind of like a cancer that grows. So I really see it as a duty of us as cypherpunks, as privacy activists, as people that just want to, you know, live free in their own individual freedom. Like, we need to sever those ties, especially those unnecessary ties. And when we do that, people will really flourish. So luckily, technology to do this exists, as we have built it over the last 30 years. And now that technology is really built, everything that cypherpunks talked about on mailing lists in 1990s, like, we have it. Digital cash, it's there. Encrypted communication, it's there. So let's use that technology and become sovereign individuals. Because for me, being a sovereign individual, it's all about not having any trusted third parties as dependencies. So no dependencies, no chains. As Nick Szabo so well said in his paper, trusted third parties are security holes, and you do not want that in your life. So you don't need to rely on government to issue you an ID. More importantly, you don't want to rely on central bank to issue you money. You do not need to rely on social media to give you voice. You need to be able to function without any of these dependencies, and you need to obtain and use technologies that allow you to do that. So It should be effortless for you to continue with your life and function, regardless of any attempts to deplatform or control you. And really, Jack Dorsey said it best when he brought up the fact that at this point, we have Tor, Nostr, and Bitcoin as three technologies that deliver on that promise of decentralization and censorship resistance at scale. Like, these are the technologies that we have. One thing that's slightly problematic is that these technologies are not used as much. So there is a question of how much people care about all of these topics and censorship resistance. I think the more world descends into this chaos that is descending, the more important censorship resistance will be, and more people will get to use these technologies. So let's start looking at them. Tor is first technology I will talk about here. It's, foundation for everything else. How many people here in the audience have used Tor? Okay, well, should I talk about Tor? A little bit. The most important thing about Tor is that it ensures that your communication and exchange of information is anonymized. So there are now around 7,000 volunteer-run nodes, and what's actually happening with Tor for you, audience, like online, because everyone here knows all about Tor. It's about routing your internet traffic through this network of random nodes and ensuring that no one is spying on your communication. The fact that there needs to be technology for this shows me that privacy is really, in this today's world, like, it's treated like luxury, and it's not. It's a necessity, and it's a human right, really. And you don't need to take it from me. If you look up UN's Universal Declaration of Human Rights, privacy is one of those rights in Article 12. Like, who knew this? How many people knew that privacy is a human right? Yeah, so document is from 1948. So if there is one takeaway from this presentation, like, you all should go with knowing, like, from now on, privacy is absolutely, like, your right that you should defend. So, because the more information about you can preserve as private, the higher the quality of your life will be. Like, we all, when we go online and see those LinkedIn feeds where people are trying to say the right thing and comment and gain attention, like, I don't know, I feel pity, honestly, because you're forced to participate in that system just so that, like, oh, you have a CV and people will see that, and then you may get a job. It's such an unfortunate system that we shouldn't feed. We should actively fight against it because it's ridiculous. And going back to Tor, to me, with Tor, the beautiful thing is, with your communication being anonymized, it's that, we are in a world where you have thousands of watchers. Your every move is being watched, but then with Tor, those watchers are blinded, and you can freely, like, communicate and send information, receive information. And if using Tor is, like, too hardcore for some people every day, or you worry that you will inadvertently visit some website that's illegal in your jurisdiction, any VPN will do, really. Like, as long as they're not logging your activity, they're not collecting customer data. Here I'm recommending IVPN, which is, I'm subjective, they're one of the supporters of BTC Pay server, but any VPN will do as long as they don't have logs or collect customer data. Bitcoin, well, when it comes to Bitcoin, the biggest thing for me really is that Bitcoin shows how financial freedom is the foundation for all other freedoms. If you're not financially free, they can let you do whatever you want. They will still control you through money. And as a sovereign individual, you can't have that. You cannot have anyone control you through money, because you're then vulnerable to that money being used as a tool, as a system of control, as Andreas so well said in his talk. And especially in the world today, where politicians are losing a lot of levers and tools of control, they're now starting to use money as a system of control. And it's not just about opening bank accounts. Like if you start a company that has Bitcoin in title, will you be blocked from opening a bank account? How many people had a situation where you were depositing money to exchange and your bank account get restricted? Yeah, I mean, this is more than I expected. And it's unfortunate. It's a demonstration of a system that's weaponized by politicians that are losing control. So they are going to use money to control you. And it's not even that, like just closing bank accounts or not opening bank accounts. It's inflation really that's the killer. Like we all know now, especially over the last year, how you need 5%, 10%, 20% more every year in order to keep up with the cost of living. And unfortunately, it's not like things are not great maybe in Switzerland and US, but it's really the poorest countries in this world, they're hit the hardest, because the biggest export of US, it's not technology, it's not culture anymore. I guess I definitely miss those old great Hollywood movies. But unfortunately, the biggest US export is inflation. And it's sensed around the world, and then you end up in a situation where the most impoverished countries are hit the hardest with hyperinflation. As a sovereign individual, you can't have that, Even if you get called an anarchist, like you need Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is precisely revolutionary because there is no counterparty. There is no counterparty risk. If you own Bitcoin, and I'm specifically talking about no KYC variant, like sorry, Mr. Saylor. If you have that, then you can operate and function as a sovereign individual without your transactions being tracked, like regardless of what Seth is talking about. Like if you have UTXO that's not labeled from an exchange, hey, you can transact, no one knows who owns that UTXO. So that's what I would encourage you to think about. It's like, what would you do? What kind of a person, what kind of identity would you have if you had, say, 21 Bitcoin being on a hardware wallet somewhere? What would you do, sir? How your life would be different? I don't know, you're thinking too hard about this. Maybe you're a whale, I don't know. Maybe you already have 21 Bitcoin. But the point is that Bitcoin is a beautiful technology. So if you haven't played with initializing hardware wallets, resetting them, sending transaction over a Bitcoin node that you brought up, you absolutely should do this. Prepare for the future, because you will be able to get by if you're not using Tor and your communication is being spied upon or used by your ISP to give you ads. You will be able to function if you do not build up identity on top of private-public key pair, but you will not be able to get by if you do not have Bitcoin. And if you need additional motivation to play with Bitcoin, this is timechaincalendar.com. And kudos to TC for creating such a beautiful by visualization of Bitcoin's time chain. It's amazing. So the last technology I'm talking about today is Nostr. If you do decide to build identity around private-public key pair, no better way to do that than using Nostr. And the newest of freedom technologies I'm talking about is the one that ties it all together. Because with Tor, talking about how you can escape that digital panopticon and being monitored. With Bitcoin, you get money that fortifies your freedom. But it's really with Nostr that you ensure that you put that final nail in the coffin of centralized control. And Nostr is as much about giving you voice, but it's also about ensuring that no one can take that voice away, because you can always change a relay. You can always continue publishing, and your notes will be, people will be able to find your notes. But what I see as the biggest advantage of Nostr is not the technology. It's not the protocol design. It's not even the fact that Jack Dorsey uses it and is such a big proponent. What I really see as the biggest advantage of Nostr is that it has created this critical mass, this freedom-loving people, brought them together. And now they're contributors in this open source community protocol, and they're finding the ways to build together, to not only like be developers, but like evangelize Nostr, evangelize protocol. How many of you are on Nostr here? Okay, so we have 50% to like convert after this talk together. Now seriously, if you open a Nostr account and tie your Lightning wallet, like I'm gonna zap you and we can post together, we can welcome more people into Nostr community. The great side effect of evangelizing Nostr is that you're evangelizing cryptography. To me, as a cypherpunk, it's insane that we had technologies like PGP for 30 years and people didn't use it because there wasn't an easy way to exchange keys. But once cryptography was incorporated into tools like Signal, suddenly everyone is using encrypted communication, and as a side effect, like our lives get better. So I'm really looking forward to how all of us together, like in this community, will help evangelize cryptography through Nostr. Because it will be critical. Like, you see this tweet? In the age of AI and deep fakes, it will be more and more impossible to tell like what is real. And so this tweet is real, right? Elon has sent this. Maybe he deleted it. We don't know. That's the point. There is no way for us to verify, is it something that happened? And we also all saw it together when Bitcoin ETFs were getting approved, right? An SEC account tweeted, Bitcoin ETFs are approved. And then 2 hours later, oh, our account was hacked. So we can't have that. This is a slide from Odell's presentation at HRF Global Summit. Kudos to him. And it shows how this slide should really make you think how not only can we not verify, but also there is a fact that Elon can do this to anyone. He can make any account on X say anything, and later be like, oh, whoops, it was a mistake. So we cannot have that. Like every message on Nostr is cryptographically signed, and anyone can verify that it came from certain private-public key pair. So that's what will be more and more critical into the future. And only when you truly appreciate all the components, and I brought just some for Nostr, but when you appreciate all the components, can you understand why people are so excited about Nostr's protocol, and why you have this community of users and builders, and they can sense they're onto something. So all that enthusiasm gets translated into events like this. Is anyone in the audience been to Nostrica? My God. Well, there was like 200 of us, Jack Dorsey and 50 fangirls, and then the rest of us. Yeah. No, I need a separate talk on that, but we did Costa Rica, we did Tokyo, Japan was the second edition, and Edward Snowden joined over remote link, and there is a great fireside chat with him and Jack Dorsey, where Edward Snowden was talking about how not many things make him optimistic, but Nostr is making him optimistic because it solves one of the problems he ran into when he was in the whole whistle-blowing process. Is like, how do you message someone and that someone knows that it's the right identity? So you can look it up. That fireside is on YouTube. Really great talk. So no one here was also in Tokyo? Okay, how about Nostriga? There has to be someone that was at Nostriga. No? Oh, you guys are leaving me hanging. Well, this is where, someone was at Baltic Honey Badger. There you go. Thank you, man. He's like, I wasn't there, but I'll go with you, Rockstar. The thing is, it was an amazing event. All the videos from the event are online, and as usual, it was somewhat of tradition. Rabel gave a great, fantastic talk, so I would recommend, if you're looking into getting more into Nostr and these events, start from that talk on YouTube. Just search Rabel, Nostriga, and you're going to find that talk. My main point, takeaway from all of that, is that it's never been a better time to start building identity over private-public key pair, and that build it in a way that frees you from third-party dependencies, like LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, X. You should absolutely spend some time to do that. Because as we cypherpunks like to say, you saw all the shirts and all the merch that says cypherpunk future is now. And it really is now for some of us, like me, where you can live completely out of the system with your identity. You can have an identity where you're completely disconnected of any third-party dependency. But what I want is that cypherpunk future is equally distributed, that more people participate in. And it's not only that people will start doing that on their own, it's that system will force them to do it. And as more institutions crumble, as this fiat trash economy accelerates, people will be forced, as they're betrayed by institutions and their politicians, they will be forced to step up as sovereign individuals and use technologies that enable that for them. And there is nothing more obvious in this moment of time to me that, like, why is there a need to build identity resistant to what's happening than US elections? Like, we all see the craziness that's happening there. And to me, it's really an echo. I was unfortunate to experience that bloody civil war in Yugoslavia in the 1990s. I would see people going literally insane from different types of information, and then they would turn on to inflicting pain on each other as a payback for pain they have experienced. Like, if you kill someone and it's like the other team, oh, like, you're our team, like, doesn't matter. So it's really something that we should fight against, and nowhere is this better illustrated than with US elections, if you ask me. So you have Elon going all insane with, like, oh, if Trump loses election, I go to jail, you know? And to me, that's just a signal how we need to reform this system, and we need to enable a better system, one where you can function as an individual, and you're not dependent on trusted third parties. Now, I would talk way more on that, but my time is up. So I would encourage, if any of you want to talk more about Tor, talk more about Bitcoin, talk more about Nostr, find me after this talk. Let's get you at least on Nostr, where you set up your Lightning wallet, and then I can zap you, and let's build a better, more sovereign future together. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Ah, man, I just got warmed up.